So today is the first Sunday of Advent. And Advent is the Latin word for coming. So we usher in the wait for the coming of a king. We usher in a season of hope. We are awaiting the King of Hope, the miracle that God promised us from the time of the Old Testament. In this time, we cry out to the King, Emmanuel, Emmanuel, O come, O come. In other words, God is with us, God is with us. O come, O come. But I want to look at the coming of the King in a different way. And I have been thinking. There was the first coming of the Messiah when he was born from the Virgin Mary. And now we, as Christ-following communities, are waiting for his second coming, when we will join him. But may I suggest a coming of the King that falls in between. The coming of a King into each and every person's heart. So I asked the question, what are we doing during this time of waiting for the coming of the Lord to bring Jesus to others that may be suffering and to those who don't know God at all? So I would like to sketch two scenarios for you to explain. Firstly, let's think about those who may be suffering at this time of the year. What about the soldiers who are lying in the trenches covered in dirt, longing for home? They might be crying out for peace. What about the lady who is told that she has a 50% of conceiving due to an illness? Might she not be crying out for grace and mercy to one day hold a baby of her own in her arms? They are calling out from under their suffering, their difficulties, their pain, their heartache. They are experiencing, Emmanuel, Emmanuel, O come, O come. Secondly, let us think about those who do not know God at all. In desperation, as the patient who is lying in his or her deathbed, about to blow out their last breath, they might be calling out to the King of Hope for forgiveness. What about the sinner at the corner of the street who sees no way out and in hopelessness call out for a better life? Emmanuel, Emmanuel, O come, O come. So what are we doing to bring Jesus to the struggling, the fearful, the desperate, and the hopeless? Are we only people who are calling out in happiness and joyfulness as we dance in the kitchen while cooking up a storm? Are we only people calling out with affection and passion when we sit around the table with our loved ones chatting? Let's bring it closer to home. The churches, doesn't matter which denomination, are suffering, trying to bring all their ministries back to life. Women's ministry, men's ministry, youth ministry, pastoral care ministry, and so on and so on. There are hospitals filled with patients who need to hear people from outside, and now they are thinking about them. There was this one video that was sent around during the third wave of the COVID, where people were actually standing outside in the parking lot at the Union Hospital, singing Christian songs and blessing the hospital as a whole. There are old age homes where elderly have simply been left by their own families, and they too need care and attention. These people might be shouting, Emmanuel, Emmanuel, O come, O come. But let's read Psalm 25, verse 1 to 10. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Do not let me be put to shame. Do not let my enemies exult over me. Do not let those who wait for you be put to shame. Let them be ashamed who are want only treacherous. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all day long. Be mindful of your mercy, O Lord, and your steadfast love, for they have been from of old. Do not remember the sins of my youth or my transgressions. According to your steadfast love, remember me, for your goodness' sake, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore he instructs sinners in the way. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep his covenant and his decrees. David prays to the king for mercies when he is suffering from affliction. He's asking that his enemies not exult over him, but he's also thinking and praying for others. David prays in particular for deliverance, for guidance, for forgiveness, and for relief. Why can't we call out to God for his mercies? Why can't we appeal to God's benevolence, his love, goodness, uprightness, faithfulness, and grace? Why can't we stand steadfast in our reliance on the King and call out for deliverance and guidance? Not just for us, but for those who are suffering and for those who still need to come to know Jesus. Why don't we put words into action? Like David, who for a moment prayed not just for himself, but for others as well. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, O come, O come. In a song by Lauren Daigle called Light of the World, she sings the following. Oh, he is the song for the suffering. He is Messiah. The Prince of Peace has come. He has come, Emmanuel. Glory to the light of the world. For all who wait, for all who hunger, for all who have prayed, for all who have wonder. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel, Emmanuel. Glory to the light of the world. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel. The world waits for the miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. O come, Emmanuel. We have to remember what the real meaning of Christmas is. It's the birthday of the King of Hope, the Messiah, the Prince of Peace, and Emmanuel. And through his actions, he brought to life the character of God, showing us, teaching us, and then sending us to spread the gospel so that Jesus can come into people's hearts. Now it's our turn, in this special time, to follow Jesus' order and make disciples of all nations. These people, the soldiers, the lady who struggles to conceive, the dying patient, the sinner on the street corner, the churches and their ministries, all the other patients in hospital, the forgotten elderly. They need to be shown the example of Jesus within our lives as we reach out to them.